You know, we spend a huge chunk of our lives curating things. We curate our playlists, our Instagram feeds, our wardrobes, even our diets. But I was thinking on the way here, uh, how often do we actually curate the people we let into our lives? I mean, really audit our friendships?
That is a dangerous question to ask. Most people are terrified of the answer. We tend to fall into friendships by accident, proximity, shared workspaces, or just because we both happen to like the same pizza place 5 years ago.
Exactly. It's accidental. But when you look at the Islamic perspective on friendship, it feels, well, it feels incredibly intentional, almost strategic. It's not just about vibes, is it?
Not at all. In fact, if you look at the core text, friendship in Islam isn't just a social lubricant, it's a survival mechanism. There's a profound weight to it. The Prophet Muhammad said something that honestly stops me in my tracks every time I hear it. He said, "A person is on the religion of his close friend, so let each of you look carefully at whom he befriends."
On the religion of his close friend. That's heavy. It implies that your friend isn't just someone you hang out with. They are a mirror of your spiritual state.
Precisely. It's an identity transfer. You absorb their habits, their speech, their values, and eventually, their standing with the divine. It dissolves the modern idea that I can be me and they can be them, and it doesn't affect me. Islam says, no, that's biologically and spiritually impossible. You are porous. You absorb the people around you.
So, it's like passive smoking?
Laughs. That is actually a fantastic analogy. Yes, it is spiritual passive smoking. If you hang around a smoker, you're going to smell like smoke, whether you lit a cigarette or not. This actually ties directly into a famous metaphor in the tradition, the perfume seller and the blacksmith.
Oh, I've heard this one. But refresh my memory. It's about the sensory experience, right?
Right? The prophet compared a good friend to a perfume seller. Even if you don't buy anything, just standing next to him means you walk away smelling like musk. You catch the fragrance. It lingers on you.
And the blacksmith?
The blacksmith is the bad companion. Even if he doesn't burn your clothes with a stray spark, you're going to walk away smelling like soot and smoke. You can't escape the environment. And I think that's what makes the Islamic view so pragmatic. It doesn't tell you to judge people arrogantly. It tells you to protect your own scent, so to speak.
That makes sense. But I want to push back a little bit. Does this mean we become isolationists? Like, sorry, you're not holy enough to hang out with me, because that sounds insufferable.
That's the common trap. People swing to the extreme of elitism. But that's not what the tradition teaches. There's a difference between acquaintances, people you are kind to, people you do business with, neighbors you help, and the Khalil, the intimate friend, the inner circle. Islam commands kindness to everyone, but it commands caution with your heart. You don't give the keys to your heart to someone who's going to drive it off a cliff.
I like that distinction. The Khalil. So, what are the qualifications for this inner circle? If I'm looking for a perfume seller, what am I actually looking for?
There are three main pillars usually discussed by scholars like Al-Ghazali. The first is intellect. A foolish friend is dangerous because they might try to help you, but end up hurting you out of ignorance.
Can you give me an example of that? The foolish friend?
Imagine someone who sees you struggling with a sin or a bad habit. A foolish friend might say, "Hey, don't be so hard on yourself. Everyone does it. Just relax." They think they are comforting you, but they are actually enabling your destruction. They are normalizing the poison because they want you to feel better in the moment, rather than be better in the long run.
Wow. Yeah, that's common. We call that being supportive nowadays.
Exactly. But a wise friend, a true Islamic friend, prioritizes your afterlife over your temporary comfort. That's the second pillar. Good character. Are they honest? Do they have integrity? And the third, and perhaps the most unique to faith, is that the friendship must be built for the sake of Allah.
That phrase, for the sake of Allah. We hear it a lot. I love you for the sake of Allah. It sounds poetic, But does it actually change the mechanics of the friendship? Or is it just a nice sticker we slap on things?
It changes everything. Think of it as a triangle. In a secular friendship, it's a line connecting you and me. If you annoy me or I don't get what I want from you, the line breaks. The friendship ends.
Transactional.
Right. But for the sake of Allah, creates a triangle. You are at one point, I am at another, and God is at the apex. My connection to you is routed through my connection to Him. I love you because you remind me of Him. I help you because He commands it. Even if you annoy me, I might still be good to you because my duty is to the apex, not just to you. It makes the bond resilient.
That's profound. It takes the ego out of it.
It does, and it also adds a layer of accountability. There's a saying that the believer is the mirror of the believer.
Mirrors don't lie.
They don't, and they don't flatter. If you have spinach in your teeth, a regular mirror doesn't filter it out to make you feel pretty. It shows you the spinach so you can clean it. A true friend in Islam is the one who pulls you aside privately and says, "Hey, you were a bit arrogant in that meeting," or "You're slipping on your prayers."
Oof. That's the friend we all need, but the friend we're often scared to have. We prefer the cheerleader.
The cheerleader is fun, but the cheerleader won't save you on the day of judgment. And that brings us to the scariest verse in the Quran regarding friendship. It's in Surah Az-Zukhruf. Close friends that day will be enemies to each other, except for the righteous.
Wait, pause there. Friends becoming enemies?
Yes. Imagine the scene, the day of judgment. Everything is laid bare. You see the consequences of every conversation, every hangout, every skipped prayer because you were too busy laughing at a coffee shop. On that day, people will turn on their best friends. They'll say, "He distracted me. He made the sin look easy. He kept me away from the remembrance of God." The love turns into blame.
That is terrifying. So the people we are closest to now could be our prosecutors later?
Unless, and this is the except in the verse, unless they were muttaqin, the righteous. If the friendship was based on God, then on that day, when everyone is fleeing from their own families, those friends will actually intercede for one another. They will look for each other. There's a beautiful tradition that says people will ask God, "Oh Lord, we have brothers who used to pray with us and fast with us, but we don't see them in paradise." And God will allow them to go and pull their friends out of the fire.
That gave me chills. So, the ultimate benefit of this friendship isn't just someone to help you move apartments or lend you money. It's someone who literally refuses to leave you behind in the afterlife.
That is the ultimate loyalty. It transcends death.
So, let's bring this down to the ground level. We have listeners thinking, okay, I have a mixed bag of friends. How do we navigate this practically? Do we just ghost everyone who isn't a saint?
No, and that's important. You don't cut people off harshly unless they are actively toxic or dangerous to your faith. But you do need to categorize. Think of your social circle like concentric circles.
Okay, visualize the target.
The bullseye, that's your inner circle, your Khalil. These should be people who remind you of God just by their presence. If you look at them and you remember to be a better person, they belong there. They influence you.
And the next ring?
The next ring is your social network. Colleagues, old schoolmates. You are kind to them, you share jokes, you have tea, but, and this is key, you influence them. You don't let them influence you. You set the tone. If they start gossiping, you change the subject. If they want to go somewhere shady, you decline. You maintain the boundary.
So, it's about power dynamics. Who is coloring whom?
Exactly. If you find that you are the one constantly compromising your values to fit into a group, that's a red flag. You need to migrate out of that circle.
It's tough, though. Loneliness is real. A lot of people hold on to bad friends because the alternative is silence.
That is a very real human struggle. But the scholars would say that solitude is better than a bad companion, and a good companion is better than solitude. It's a hierarchy. If you can't find a good companion, learn to be comfortable with yourself and God. Often, when you create that space, when you clear out the junk food friendships, God sends you the nourishment you actually need. You have to make room for the good ones to arrive.
It's a leap of faith.
It is. And remember, you also have to be that friend. We always ask, where are the good people? Instead of asking, am I the good person someone else is looking for? Are you the mirror? Are you the perfume seller?
That's a humbling pivot. We demand loyalty, but we offer flakiness. We demand honesty, but we offer defensiveness.
Right? There's a beautiful concept called ithar, preferring others over yourself. The early Muslims had this level of friendship where they would offer their wealth, their food, even their place in line to their brother. They viewed their friends' needs as more urgent than their own. In our hyper-individualistic self-care culture, that sounds radical.
It sounds impossible. We're taught to protect our energy, set boundaries, me first.
And boundaries are good, but sacrifice is holy. Friendship in Islam is a training ground for selflessness. If you can love someone imperfect, forgive their mistakes, and help them financially without expecting a payback, you are essentially training your soul to detach from the material world. You're proving to God that you value His creation more than your own ego.
I want to go back to something you touched on. Forgiveness. Because even righteous friends mess up. We fight. What's the protocol there?
The protocol is swift reconciliation. The Prophet said it is not lawful for a Muslim to ignore his brother for more than 3 days. 3 days, that's your cooling off period. After that, the best of them is the one who initiates the salam, peace.
3 days? I know people who have held grudges for 3 decades.
And that grudge is a heavy chain. It blocks your own spiritual progress. In Islam, maintaining the bond of brotherhood is an act of worship. Satan despairs of being worshipped in the land of the believers, so he settles for something else, inciting conflict between them. He knows that if he can break the brotherhood, the wolf eats the lonely sheep.
The wolf eats the lonely sheep. That's a vivid image. So the community, the ummah, is essentially a fortress made of these individual friendships.
Correct. If the bricks don't stick together, the wall falls.
This has been, honestly, a bit of a wake-up call. I'm thinking about my phone contacts right now. I'm thinking about who I texted last.
It's a necessary audit, but don't do it with judgment. Do it with vision. Ask yourself, is this person helping me get to where I want to be in eternity?
That's the question. Not, are they fun on a Friday night, but will they know me on the day of judgment?
And will I be happy to see them then?
Exactly. We've covered the danger of the blacksmith, the beauty of the perfume seller, the mirror of the believer, and the ultimate test of the afterlife. It really reframes friendship from a casual hobby to a spiritual project.
A life project, and perhaps the most rewarding one.
Before we sign off, if you could leave our listeners with one thought, maybe someone who feels like their circle is pulling them down, but they're scared to let go, what would you say to them?
I would say, you become what you love. If you love people who love God, that love will drag you toward Him, even if you are weak. Don't underestimate the power of proximity. Change your circle, and you will change your destination.
You become what you love. I think that's the perfect place to leave it. Thank you for this deep dive. It's given me, and I'm sure our listeners, a lot to think about.
It was a pleasure.
To everyone listening, take a moment today. Look at your circle. Smell the perfume or the smoke, and make the choice that your future self, your eternal self, will thank you for. Thanks for tuning in.